The semifinals of the French Open were meant to be a showdown. Two young stars, Carlos Alcaraz and Lorenzo Musetti, battling for a spot in the final. Musetti came out strong, really strong. His serves were sharp, his returns fearless. He took control early, even putting the defending champion Alcaraz in real trouble. After the first set, Musetti had an incredible 71% success rate on his first serves. Alcaraz, just 49%. It looked like an upset was brewing. But then, things changed. Slowly, Musetti began to struggle. He wasn't moving as freely. A left leg injury that had bothered him before the match started to get worse. You could see it, he was in pain. His powerful game started to fade, his shots lost their sting. Alcaraz noticed. Like any top player, he adapted. He focused on Musetti's weak side and the momentum shifted. From 1-1 in sets, Alcaraz suddenly won 8 straight games. The fourth set had barely begun when Musetti made the heartbreaking decision to retire.
Splashed it down. He's going to retire.
Just like that, it was over. No match point, no big finish. But what Carlos Alcaraz did next made everyone stop and feel something deeper than sport. Instead of celebrating, he turned to the crowd and asked them to cheer. Not for him, but for Musetti. The Italian who had fought so hard was now leaving the court in pain, and Alcaraz wanted him to know he was seen, respected, applauded.
It's not great, getting through or winning the match. Lorenzo is a great player. He has done an incredible clay season. He's one of those few players who achieved, at least semifinals on clay.
Lorenzo Musetti, a 23-year-old rising tennis star, was getting ready to serve. A few balls were rolled his way. He seemed a little frustrated, maybe distracted, and then in a split second, he kicked one of the balls away. At first, it looked like nothing, but the ball didn't just stop. It flew, fast and unexpected, and hit a line judge in the upper body. She stumbled. Surprisingly, the line judge stayed calm. She didn't panic. She kept her hands behind her back and didn't say a word. Meanwhile, Musetti, still bouncing another ball with his racket, began to apologize. The umpire gave him a warning. That's all. Code violation. Unsportsmanlike conduct warning, Mr. Musetti. No point loss, no penalty. Just a warning. And Musetti continued the match like nothing happened. But not everyone agreed with that decision. Across the net, American player Francis Tiafoe looked shocked. He motioned toward the umpire, clearly confused. Later, in the press conference, his words were sharp.
Obviously, he did that and nothing happened. I think that's comical, but it is what it is. Nothing happened, so it's nothing really to talk about.
Musetti was asked about the moment after his 6-2, 4-6, 7-5, 6-2 win saw him progress to the last four at Roland Garros for the first time, and he conceded he feared the worst.
I was a little bit honestly scared because I really didn't want to harm nobody, of course. So I immediately went to the line umpire and I apologized to everyone. And it was right, to have a warning. But I think the umpire saw that there was no intention about that, and that's why he probably just let me continue my game.
And that's where things started to shift, because fans remembered something.
Top-ranked tennis superstar Novak Djokovic abruptly disqualified from the tournament after he hit a ball toward the backboard and struck a line judge in the throat.
Very similar to what Musetti did. And in 2017, Denis Shapovalov was immediately thrown out of a Davis Cup match for hitting an umpire with a ball in frustration. Zverev came out swinging. His shots were sharp, his serves were solid, and he took control early. The first set, his 6-4. The German looked confident, focused, and hungry for a big win. But then, things started to shift. Djokovic, one of the greatest fighters the sport has ever seen, found his rhythm in the second set. He quickly broke Zverev's serve and took a 4-1 lead. The momentum was swinging. And then, something really strange happened. Zverev was about to serve when he suddenly bent over, coughing and spitting toward the clay. The cameras caught it, and fans watching at home were puzzled. So was former world #1 Jim Courier, who was commentating live.
That's an odd reaction after that ace.
I think he might have swallowed a fly.
That's what I thought I heard him say that, but I was waiting for you to take the chance on it.
Yes, flies. Tiny insects had swarmed the court under the evening lights, and Zverev was struggling to breathe and play at the same time. He wasn't just battling Djokovic, he was battling the bugs. From that moment on, the match took a turn. Djokovic stayed laser-focused. While Zverev tried to shake off the discomfort, the Serbian legend took over. He won the next 3 sets, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4, booking his place in the semifinals and crushing Zverev's hopes of a deep run. But for Novak, this win meant much more than just advancing.
Yeah, it was an amazing match. Obviously, beating one of the best players in the world on the biggest stage is something that I definitely work for.
Early in the second set, Shelton hit a fast, tricky shot, just beyond Alcaraz's reach. In a desperate move, Carlos stretched out with everything he had. His racket flew from his hand, but somehow the strings still touched the ball and sent it flying over the net. The umpire saw it and called the point in favor of Alcaraz. The scoreboard ticked forward. Something didn't feel right, and Carlos knew it. The 22-year-old Spaniard walked calmly over to the umpire. He told the truth. He explained that the shot shouldn't count. His racket wasn't in his hand when it hit the ball. According to tennis rules, that makes the shot illegal. The umpire corrected the call.
Mesdames et messieurs, Carlos Alcaraz a dit qu'il n'avait plus la raquette dans la main au moment du contact. Point à Ben Shelton. 30-40.
Suddenly, the audience, sensing the honesty and integrity behind the moment, broke into loud applause. In his post-match interview, Alcaraz didn't try to make a big deal of it.
I would have felt guilty if I didn't say anything, about it. So if I know that I didn't or I did a wrong and illegal shot, I have to say. I have to be honest with myself. I have to be honest with Ben, with everyone. That's the sport. It should be like this, as I said, because it was an illegal shot, be allowed. So that's why I said it.
Djokovic, chasing his record-breaking 25th Grand Slam title, fell in straight sets to the young Italian star. It was Sinner's 4th win in a row over the Serbian legend. But what happened before the third set turned heads for a very different reason. Just as Sinner had full control, leading by 2 sets, Djokovic called for a medical timeout. He seemed to be dealing with leg and hip pain and took the full break to recover. Some viewers sympathized. He's human, they said. Injuries happen, but not everyone saw it that way. Instead of concern, many fans felt suspicion. They accused Djokovic of using the timeout not just to recover, but to break Sinner's rhythm, right when the Italian was dominating. One fan wrote, "Typical faker, can't stand him, man." Another posted, "Ooh, the obligatory MTO. Embarrassing." And honestly, it did seem to work for a while. Djokovic came back stronger, pushed Sinner hard in the third set, and even had set points. It almost looked like the match was about to shift, but Sinner didn't blink. He stayed calm, held his nerve, and shut the door on Djokovic's comeback. After his hard-fought semifinal loss to Jannik Sinner, the 24-time Grand Slam champion didn't just gather his things and exit. He paused. Djokovic gently placed his kit bag down and turned to the crowd. With tired eyes and a full heart, he waved and thanked the fans for their support. The stadium responded with warmth and respect, aware they might be witnessing the end of an era. Djokovic bent down, kissed his hand, and touched the red Parisian clay, the very surface that had challenged him, rewarded him, and defined a large part of his career. After the match, Djokovic addressed the moment.
Could have been my last match. I didn't say it was. I don't know right now, 12 months at this point in my career is quite a long time. Do I wish to play more? Yes, I do. Will I be able to play in 12 months' time here again? I don't know.
Rafael Nadal, the king of clay, the man who won 14 French Open titles, stood in the middle of the court where he had made history so many times. But this time, there were no rackets, no serves, just memories, emotions, and heartfelt words. At 37 years old, Nadal is saying farewell to Roland Garros, a place that shaped his career and made him a legend, and the sport's other greats, his fiercest rivals, came to honor him. Federer was the first to greet him with a warm embrace. Djokovic, who had just won a title the day before, flew in just for this, and Andy Murray made a same-day trip from London, all to stand by the man they had battled for nearly 2 decades. Nadal looked at the men beside him, men who had once stood between him and victory, and spoke from the heart.
After all these years fighting for everything, it's unbelievable how the time changed the perspective of everything. And I think we built amazing rivalries, but at the same time, in a good way. For me, it means a lot that all of you here.
As Nadal stood on the court, he noticed something new. a plaque placed on Philippe Chatrier, a permanent tribute to the greatest clay court player of all time. He had no idea it would be there forever.
When I see that, I thought it was going to be just for this year. But knowing that's going to be forever there is, yeah, it's a present that I can't describe in words, no? But for me it was and it is, and it's always going to be a huge honor and very, very emotional to have this spot on the most important court of my tennis career.